Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show to speak on how Lamata's bold steps to redefine Lagos transportation system is the Managing Director of Lamata herself, Engineer Abimbola Akinajo. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
So when you think Lagos, you think transportation, you think traffic, you think bus distance. How do we get from point A to point B? And we know there's been a lot of work that has been done so far. You've been on our show before, and where you kind of shared the plans for Lagos State. It's been 20 years right now of the infrastructure in Lagos State. And can you just give us some kind of understanding of what the vision was, where it was, and where you're going to right now? Let's just in a nutshell.
Okay, so thank you very much, and good morning, ladies. Thank you very much for having me. So I think for Lamata, or what is the vision, we should start from the beginning. And the beginning is that Lagos State, through Lamata, created a strategic transport master plan.
Okay.
So that sort of creates the template upon which any development will happen in Lagos. And in fairness to Lagos, we have followed that. So that template speaks of rail systems, 6 of them. It speaks of BRT systems. It speaks of the same quality bus corridors that we're talking about. So it speaks of a public transport system that ensures that you and I will be comfortable to take that transport, knowing fully well that I'll be catered for from point A to point B without needing to take my car. The vision is to, you spoke about Lagos, you said traffic,
yes.
congestion. So the vision is to ensure that we do something about that.
Let me rephrase my question before the ladies jump in, because growing up, I remember Mulwe, right? And I was there when Fashale came with all these breaking the roads into 2 and wondering, what is he doing? BRT lanes. Then they're bringing in new buses. Like, oh, there is air conditioning on the buses. And then those buses began to dilapidate. And we're thinking, okay, can they maintain this? And then we have private sector coming in to have other versions to add to the bus. And then we saw that. And then we were promised that new buses were at the ports, that they would be put into the market. For whatever reason, we didn't see that. Now, when you came in, you shared with us that, okay, we're now going to have the Korokwe buses came in after a while, and they were supposed to convert that also. I think they called them last
mile buses.
Yes. So we want to understand, so we've seen the progress, but we'd like to have an idea, what's the next phase?
Okay. So thank you. Like you say, you've seen the progress. Those buses came, the ones that were at the ports, they actually function now in Lagos. They're the high capacity buses that you see. The progress is that we will continue to put out infrastructure to support public transport. And that infrastructure is the implementation of more BRT routes, the implementation of quality bus corridors that we're about to talk about, and the implementation of rail lines. So we have new buses, we're working with private sector, and continually they're putting new buses into the system. It is the growth of numbers of buses that will ensure that public transport becomes a natural choice for all of us. So there will be, in terms of infrastructure development, new bus routes, BRT routes, new quality bus routes. There'll be bus terminals, bus depots. There'll be rail lines. There'll be rail infrastructure. Interchanges. All of those things go toward providing public transport infrastructure that will make public transport easy for you and I to utilize.
Let's break down what quality bus corridor means. Does it just mean, the BRT lane or the new bus interchange that is at Oshodi, the one that is being constructed at Mount?
Okay.
And sorry, I can't continue. Okay.
So, quality bus corridors. I think the first thing is to understand that in Lagos there is a hierarchy of bus systems. So we have BRT. Those ones sit on dedicated lanes. So you will see the buses, the lanes are dedicated, and they are the only ones supposed to be traveling on that route. Quality bus corridors are routes that we have understood within our studies are pertinent and quite important to public transport, to transportation, movement of people. Now, what we are now doing is quality bus corridors will be routes that buses will travel in mixed traffic, but they will have priorities, say at traffic lights. We will create infrastructure to ensure that people feel comfortable. So it's not that the bus will stop by the side of the road and you can drop. There will now be bus stops, there will be lay-bys, and when the bus gets to a traffic light system, those systems will be wired such that they'll be configured such that they will recognize that a bus is waiting, and it will give priority to that bus to move. So it is the whole concept of the quality bus corridor. Whilst I do not have a dedicated lane, I have the buses traveling in mixed traffic, but I am also recognizing that public transport is priority, and so therefore I'm giving them priority.
Sorry, for me it sounds very complicated, but if you help break it down, because I'm thinking BRT lane, that is dedicated bus lane, and so of course I can see how it's easier for them, how it will work. But if I'm in traffic, like it normally happens, okay, coming to work, Adele is my route, and then we join at Marina, and there are buses as well as regular cars, and I'm wondering how that will work if we stop at a lane, if we're at a traffic light stop, and I have buses in between regular private cars. How would that work?
Okay, so it is about configuring your traffic management system.
Okay.
It will, when the buses get close to it, there's a certain distance that the systems designers will identify that there is a bus. When the bus gets to that distance, the traffic light is configured to recognize it, and within so many seconds, it will release traffic in that direction and allow the bus to go past.
So how do the private cars understand what role does it play? Do we just get fined because they struggle with them? Because
no, you won't get fined.
So how does it work? How does the private car owner know?
The private car owner doesn't have to do anything. You are in a queue. You will just realize that.
Yeah. So you move faster because there are buses
because there are buses there. You will just realize that the traffic light allows you to go, and you will follow the same route, and there is no fine, no nothing. And everybody moves, and the bus is let go. So it's about tinkering with that traffic light system.
Okay, so I wanted to ask about the average commuter. How would this impact on their lives? You know, we've always had issues concerning disabilities. People have complained. There's been protests concerning the fact that they are not considered enough when we're making these changes. So my question would be that, what tangible changes are we going to see? How would it impact on persons living with disabilities? And are we also, because really I heard QBC, I just felt, oh, okay, so they're separating the two areas. These are quality bus commute. So what will now happen to the low income areas? Because obviously there are some areas that you don't see any of the cleaner, you don't see any of the cleaner buses. So but I'm happy that you've already broken down that it's not really about the area, but still, how are they going to be covered, the low income areas, people that are having disabilities, and more importantly, general commuters?
Okay, so the first thing is, in defining or identifying the quality bus corridors, it's about where is it that there are more commuters. So that's the priority. It's about where do people travel? What are the routes that people go? That's part of the study that informed the identification of the quality bus corridors. Now, when it comes to passengers, I think it's the same thing that Lagos has been doing. It is in the specification of the buses that you cater to the physically challenged or the mobility impaired. You need to be able to ensure they can board the buses. And so you will see that a number of the new buses that we have, you can actually wheel onto the buses. And that's the most important thing, access. Granting access to everybody. And it's an ongoing process for Lagos. It's progress that is continuing. We're ensuring that the buses that we bring on board will give you access, whether you are physically impaired or not. And that's the same thing world over. The ability to wheel yourself onto the buses. The buses also have dedicated spaces where persons with wheelchair can sit. It also tells us, and this is about the people, it also tells us that there are priority seats. It is for the people on the bus. Having been told time and time again that when you see someone who needs it, please give it up.
Yes.
I mean, I remember when I was in the car accident in 1998, I was on a wheelchair, and I'll be, my brother's, all his job is just to wheel me to the bus stop. My job is to get on the bus, I wheel myself in the bus, stay there, I get down, and because I was in the student government, somebody was always waiting for me at the bus, so I called them up, and they picked me at the bus and wheeled me to class. So I had no help. I had to just wheel. So I get that. It's important that those buses are accessible for people to be wheeled. There's a question that I wanted to ask you concerning working with Lagos Traffic Management authorities. But let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue that conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have the MD of Lamata with us. How is Lamata working with other management of traffic management authorities in building these projects? Because it's one thing for Lamata to have a vision, and that thing for other sister agencies to be aligned and work in cohesion with what you're doing. So how are you working with them?
Okay, so thank you very much for that. For Lamata, part of what we must do as we're developing the project, part of what we must do is to develop a traffic management plan for the duration of the construction. And that traffic management plan must involve LASMA. The good thing is we're all part of one happy transportation family. So in the in working with the contractor, we work also with the traffic management planners, those who look after the traffic. So they must deliver a traffic management plan, show when they need access to certain areas, and we work with LASMA to ensure that they control traffic to provide some level of sanity during construction to ease traffic. So LASMA works with us.
You keep saying construction, but earlier you said that it's nothing, we're not building anything because it's just the configuration of the cameras.
Oh, no,
so what parts?
they're building.
Maybe I missed it. Okay,
We're
we already
building.
have laybys now.
No, not enough. We're building bus stops, we're building laybys, we're building bus depots, we're building bus terminals. The whole vision is connectivity. So we need to have depots, we need to have terminals.
Depots are where the buses stay
overnight.
So terminals are
where they come and do
business.
So you come,
Board buses.
you board buses there.
Okay.
Depots, they will originate from there.
Okay.
And so what we're even doing with the depots is that we're putting dormitories in, so a bus driver that has to start at 5 a.m. has somewhere to stay the night before,
Nice.
just to ensure that we have...
Do we have a timeline for this construction and when it will be open?
So we're doing it now.
Yes.
And the vision is that we'll be done by the 3rd quarter of next year.
Okay.
So we have 4 major quality bus corridors in
So as
in
they're
progress.
done, you start using, or we're going to wait for a final commissioning? How does it work?
Well, the president will not come
Or we just get going?
Why shouldn't President come?
Come and block
You do
the
something
Lagos.
that amazing.
It was him that started the...
We can commission from Abuja, just send goodwill message and we are good. We don't need that blockage.
We can start using it.
But we can start using
No,
it
we
for the
can,
commissioning.
and we will, because I think the vision is that, in fairness, we've started them almost simultaneously, so we will have them in operations as they are implemented.
Okay, just 2
With
questions.
small commissioning.
For the wheelchair user, for instance, you know the way the buses never wait for somebody to settle in? I'm wondering, would there be a time when you have a person living with disability using the public bus? Will there be a time within which the person must get on the bus, settle in before the driver moves, so that we're not struggling with them, you know? Then I have another question. I live on the Blue Rail axis, and one of the things I will see is sexual harassment now. Unfortunately, there will be no camera to cover that. So a young lady from the island going towards Mile 2 was being grouped by some group of boys. She raises an alarm, and then they also raise their voice and accuse her of being unruly, you know, and there was no evidence, and she was just, you know, pulled out of the train because she kept fighting. She was the one who was now unruly, accusing the boy, but there was no evidence. They were saying, no. And they are market boys of a certain, you know, so that happens, that's the second time it's been witnessed. I'm wondering, is there a way to resolve such an issue on behalf of a lone voice? You know, so
Cameras,
that women don't
security.
get scared. They don't get scared of using the Blue Rail.
Okay, so thank you very much. This is a matter that is really close to our heart in Lamata, because sexual harassment on public transport is a big thing world over. It is not just Lagos. The minute you see a cramped space,
Yeah,
opportunists will begin to behave badly. And one of the things Lamata has done is we have something called the Sheic Tool, which is, it's us thinking, how can we help our commuters, especially the female gender, to be safe on the buses, on the trains. Part of the way that we've looked at this, and it's difficult when it's all cramped up, and this is a challenge all over the world. When it's all cramped up, you can't see who's done what. And a lot of times it is for the passenger to find a way to ensure that they have told somebody. But before that, we that own the infrastructure, we have cameras wherever there's camera on the train, there's camera on the stations. The train stations, we have over 382 cameras all over.
Okay.
So what we seem to think is not visible may be recorded. And the ability to go back and complain will ensure that we go back and look at the information. And we've been able to do a lot of people have been caught doing all sorts of terrible things. So I feel that we must encourage the female passenger to speak up. Go and talk to somebody on the... We have Lagos State Neighborhood Watch.
Okay.
They're there in uniform.
Yes.
They're there plain clothes.
Yes.
And they're on every station. If as a female passenger you feel aggrieved, please speak to somebody, because we will take it up. It is a matter that Lamata is very, very serious about.
Amazing.
Fantastic. That's good to know.
Very good
the
to
wheelchair
know.
one, please.
I mean, when women are involved in something, I just feel, part of what she has just said, it seems well covered. Sometimes we're so concerned about infrastructure, we don't think about the people. And I'm happy that, we're able to ask this question and get that response immediately. Thank you very much for that.
So I'd asked earlier about a person with disability getting enough time to settle in
on the buses.
The bus move.
Okay, so for the person with disability to get on, especially on wheelchair, the bus driver must bring out a ramp. And what that does is it deliberately slows down the bus so that the person who has a wheelchair will have to wheel himself on the bus. And that bus cannot move until it withdraws that ramp. So that time will be adequate for the wheelchair passenger to get on the bus and settle down.
Okay, we have to wrap up with you, but are there any final comments? Because Nigerians are listening to you and they are anticipating timelines. I think Mariam said it. When we say timelines, that when you're starting, what should we look out for so that people can start planning their routes? Because when we hear Lagos and Lamata and road closures and detours and diversions, we really we start to cringe.
We have always delivered.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yes, they can brag about that.
Yes.
They can brag about that one. They cannot argue.
Public transport for us is the vision for Lagos. The ability to move from place to place without needing your car is when we begin to boast of ourselves being a mega city. And I think that is a vision for Lagos. That's why T is the first letter of your Themes Plus agenda. So for Lamata, the only job we have is to ensure that public transport in Lagos is continuously improved and improved upon. And so therefore, for the quality bus corridors, it will bring about connectivity. You'll be able to get on a bus quicker. You'll be able to, and we have interchanges, you'll be able to change modes quicker. The vision is to ensure that you can change from bus to rail in less than 5 minutes. And those things make it easy for us all to use public transport.
And I think we should also add that you can do so safely. Now I'll be more confident in sending my children off to, with public transport to go off to schools, knowing that there are cameras and places that they can report if anything comes up.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking with engineer Mrs. Abimbola Akinajo, the Managing Director of Lamata. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, ladies.
That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, continue to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.